had a pretty interesting place to test these out today.
Yeah,
a little different than what we normally do.
Yeah.
A few more obstacles.
Yeah, which is, I think it's a good test for the accuracy of the performance, the fine motor skills of the pilot and the fine handling and precision handling of the helicopter.
I will attribute most of it to, on my side anyhow, to the helicopter, the fine handling of the helicopter.
Yeah, it was a helicopter. It was all the helicopter.
Definitely. Well, let's get to scoring.
All right.
Start with my model characteristics. Build as advertised. We gave a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, it was out of the box, ready to go. No fiddling or messing with the helicopters. Just charge the battery up and off you go.
Done deal. Finish, 5 out of 5. Speaks for itself. These are nicely done bodies. I think the whole package is just...
you don't get tired of looking at it, even though we've seen the MD 500 series done so many times in helicopters. They did such a great job with these. There's so much detail to it. It's just fun. And they look great in the air,
That's exactly what I was just thinking. They look really nice in the air. Power, 4.5 out of 5.
Plenty. As you can see in the video, you can punch the throttle and it'll just it'll go right up the elevator as fast as you want to. And really, on coaxials where you see power is when you're coming out of a descent.
Exactly.
And you chop the throttle and hammer the throttle. How much sag do you get?
Yeah.
The MD-500s, the Ares helicopters, they immediately respond.
The response time is right there.
Yep. So it's a nice spool up speed. The gyro is plenty fast enough, and the ESCs are fast enough to throw the differential into the motors to where you don't get any kind of torque spin. And it just immediately stops descent and holds and then starts climbing again.
And you know, with all that, I guess summed up is you just don't think about your left thumb much at all as far as the throttle goes. You just don't.
Absolutely.
It's there when you need it. It's a smooth transition when you don't want the
very minimal trimming through the power curve as your battery declines, which is typical. You have to do a little bit of trimming on the rudder.
And you don't hear much decline in the hum of the.
No.
At all during the decline of the battery, which you do in a lot of them.
You're working so well within the efficiency range of the motor that you're not feeling that nose over as the battery starts to go. The other thing too, I think, on the power as it relates to the flight experience, which a particular circumstance or condition you often suffer with the coaxials, which we'll talk about in a minute, the power. I've felt more powerful coaxials, a few of them out on the market that are more powerful, but then all of a sudden you find that you're overrunning the capabilities of a coaxial helicopter and you're losing some stability. So even though it's the 4.5 on power, I think it's a very, very good combination, and it lends itself to some really unique handling characteristics.
Yeah, it does.
So, well, caveat. I said throw a caveat in there.
There you go.
Caveat. Asterisk. Footnote.
Ampersand.
Ampersand.
Ground handling, 4 out of 5. One thing I noticed with the ground handling, and that of course is small or a low hover on takeoff or just takeoff in general, you couldn't...
And landing.
And landing, exactly.
Working in that ground effect.
One thing I noticed, and you commented on it too, was as soon as you power this up on the ground, it wants to start sliding and tilting backwards. You really got to kind of give it some forward, well, let me use the correct thumb here.
Yeah.
Forward stick.
That's why he has problems with helicopters. He's trying to go forward with the left one.
Forward stick.
Mode 2, that's not
And you've got to give it some power to get off the ground, or you find yourself wanting to drift backwards quick.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. I thought, sitting on softer carpet today, I thought that it was a little tail heavy. So what the heck's going on here? I thought it was tail heavy. And as soon as you fire it up, it's just, I think it's really, if anything, maybe the aerodynamics of the body itself, or the airflow, rather, over the body. I don't know. I really can't explain it. I'm not a heli design expert, but it definitely wants to kind of sag back. Now, what I notice is if you have it set in fairly level and you just give it some throttle, as soon as it starts to get any kind of lift, it comes off nice and square.
Yes, it does.
But as you know, as we spooled ours up and felled it, I wanted to see what it did as I very gently eased down the throttle. Sometimes we noticed that it wanted to tilt backwards, which...
Well, a lot of times on these small ones, especially on a smooth surface, you'll want to spin yourself around to orient the way you want. You know, and what you find out is it just isn't as easy with these. They tend to want to drift backwards a little bit.
But like you said, a slight amount of forward cyclic as you throttle up just a little bit, and then give it some commitment. And
now on landing, you don't feel that.
No,
landing, they're real smooth.
Once you're up and hanging off of the spindle, it's fine. It's nice and smooth and level.
Durability, we gave it a 5 out of 5. I can attest to that 5 out of 5.
13, 14 feet today?
At least. We had one situation where we smacked an obstacle.
Yeah, when you get near an obstacle on a coaxial, they act like a night bug. They want to pull into it, and usually what happens then is you get yourself tangled up. You whack your fly bar, you break things. So you get in the habit over flying these for years now, is you just kill the throttle and let it fall, because it has less of a chance of breaking falling on carpet or something like that than it does you beating the rotors up against something. So We chopped the throttle about 13, 14 feet today.
Yeah.
And it went all the way down and hit the table.
Hit a table of all things.
A hard
one
table, the one
in the
table.
whole room. Little one, too.
Went flying across the room, absolutely no problems whatsoever. So
Nothing. And what I've noticed, too, is while the body may be a harder plastic, the skids are extremely flexible, and this tail piece that's screwed on is extremely flexible. This, I think, obviously is for a reason that it's flexible, because this would be a damage point right away.
Yeah, snap right away.
And it actually held up quite well.
Very,
well.
very surprisingly durable. Probably, by far, actually, I wouldn't say probably, by far the most durable coaxial we've flown in a scale body.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
By far. So.
All right, we'll get to the pilot experience. Flight is advertised 5 out of 5. Now, we talked quite a bit already about the flight is advertised. I'll make one comment that I noticed, being very much a rookie still on helicopters, and probably will be my entire life.
That's good. You'll always be a good barometer for certain aspects of the helicopter.
Yeah, coaxials at least. One thing I noticed is, and what's common in a lot of these small micros, is you'll find that when you're transitioning from forward flight into a hover, or just trying to slow down your forward flight, they want to wash out. They want to get you instantly get into that violent whipping until you can get it back under control. With these, you could go full forward stick and let off on it, and they snapped right into a hover. And it was I was very impressed with that.
Absolutely. It's a function of a counterweight as opposed to a fly bar. Once you get that gyroscopic effect going on in that top rotor, it just wants to, like you said, it gets violent within itself then, and you're done. I mean, you just watch it come down to the ground. In fact, in the video, I took full cyclic, left, right, forward. I mean, just went crazy with the cyclic, coming out of a forward and then pulling back and trying to induce that as much as possible. I could not get it to do it under what I would consider normal circumstances. Now, I could have if I'd have gotten really crazy with it, but I didn't want to damage the thing.
Exactly. If you're up against an object or you're getting a lot of its own wind affecting it, then it's going to change the dynamics of it. But in clean air and in an open space, these things are incredible for how stable they are.
Again, the best I've experienced so far for not having a tendency to get into that toilet bowl or that washout within their own space. So, very, very remarkable.
Flight time, 5 out of 5. We ran these a long time on a single charge, and these are 220 milliamp.
220 milliamp.
And we were impressed with the amount of time we got out of them.
Fantastic run time.
And like you mentioned earlier, you've got full control and pretty much full power through the whole battery.
Yeah.
You're not getting that lag in the last few minutes of the flight to where you really can't. It's either there or it's not.
You get all the battery out of it. And when you finally reach the point where it's done, it starts settling down and you don't quite have the lift. So.
Speaking of where we flew, field size, we flew these in a house today.
Just
coaxial
helicopters are classic indoor flyers.
You got it. So indoors in a house, you could fly these outside in very calm.
Again, with that lack of tendency to wash out, it's going to be an even better outdoor flyer as well. So.
Portability, 5 out of 5. They've got a great molded styrofoam case that's in the box. Put the lid on, close it up, and off you go. So that scores high. And then skill level, we've got it at beginner, and for good reason. I think this is a very good starting platform for any beginner.
Yeah, we typically don't summarize at the end of our reviews because they're covered enough or at length throughout the course of the video. But with Aries being a new product to hit the market, we were just as curious as everybody else. Like, what are these going to be? What are they going to be like? And these are $89.99 is what they came out on at the street price. Phenomenal flying helicopter.
Yeah, it is.
Truly a remarkable flying, and again, remarkable in all sense of the words. I'll remember these helicopters for a while as a standout product from a pure flight experience. Now, if you go through all the other aspects of our scoring, it scored high across the board. So overall, the value is extremely high on it. But I enjoyed the flight experience. And today, a lot of times when we film, we'll do things that are kind of on the fringe. We'll try to push it to the point where we get all those bad tendencies to pop out. We had less time on the ground and less time picking these back up and putting them in the air than probably any other helicopter coaxial we've reviewed. They're that stable and predictable. So the flight experience is just a blast of these.
And to add to that, there were a few times when we were filming that Kurt was trying to go around an obstacle just for the effects, for the film itself.
Fine motor skill thing.
There you go. Yeah, easier done than said. But he basically ran the blades up against this obstacle multiple times, trying to get your depth perception correct, because he was in the corner of the room.
Absolutely.
Normally, when a coaxial, as soon as anything touches the blades, it's down.
Yeah, you're done.
Or it goes nuts and you're out of control. These things never moved. They
you
never
get that
moved.
Solid objects always attract these rotor blades. Like I said, it's like a bug outside. You're getting close to a wall and they'll suck them right in. We didn't have that much of a problem with these at all. And if you did touch you could actually fly back out of it. It didn't suck you in and you were done and hitting the ground. So yeah, it was really unexpected and very pleasurable to fly.
Yeah.
So
I think for this being Aries' entry into this market or into the RC market period, I think they definitely started out.
They came on strong.
They came on strong, and they came out with a product that's going to. There's going to be a lot of things that I think have to stand up to this level.
Well, that's it. They've set the bar and within their own product scope, so they're doomed to failure at some point. They're going to have a product that doesn't meet this bar.
Well, sure.
No, I'm just kidding. We actually have a couple more products of theirs to test out here upcoming. So if the MD500 is any indication of what they're producing and what they're going to be introducing to the RC market, I think we're all going to be really happy.
It's going to be an exciting company to watch, I think.
Very good.
Sure.
Well, that wraps up our review of the Aries MD500D CX100 RTF aircraft. If you want to see the full review, go out to our website at tubefly.com. For our mobile users, head out to rcflightsource.com. You can download the mobile app and take all of this stuff with you. Well, all the information and the news and reviews and tools and some exclusive content that isn't on the website. I'm Kurt with Two Brothers Hobby.
And I'm Rob. Thanks for watching.